Chris is getting a pen and he'll be here, and
I can throw one right now. Take one.
regular meeting of November 27th will now come to order. Please rise for the pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ann, would you take the roll, please?
Okay. Elke,
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Sled,
Here.
Ellie,
Here.
Shell,
Here.
Adair, here, come in.
Here. So, do we have any citizen comments?
Approval of agenda first.
Oh, I guess we should approve the agenda. We've all had a chance to look at the agenda. It's not too full tonight. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda to be accepted as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ballard, supported by Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved. Now, again, you citizens had a chance to think about it. Do you have any comments now? Okay.
This is your last chance.
Well, we do have one other
It
chance.
is, but right now.
There's no presentations tonight. We have our administrative reports. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first, because mine's always short and sweet. We, on the planning commission, we did approve the auto detailing shop there down on Floral. I guess it's zoned industrial, so there's not much we can do about it, whether anybody likes it or not.
Now, where's that shop at?
Right, I think right at the end of this Floral there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just back off the street.
Oh, that building way back there?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's just a very small.
Yes,
It is.
it's like 1,200 square foot,
Okay.
so he's got a business there already. We approved it.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you, Mike. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead, Russ.
So I understand today we're experiencing some issues with the control panel on well number 8. 8 does not automatically start up like it's supposed to. You can manually start it, but the SCADA system that operates it's having some kind of an issue. So we're going to talk to UIS SCADA tomorrow and have them walk us through some troubleshooting on the panel to see what the issue is. No immediate concern because we can operate, we've got less demand as the weather gets colder. We can operate off of well 6 and 7. The 7 has got the variable frequency drive, which is questionable. So we're going to take the opportunity to talk to SCADA tomorrow about where that VFD is as well. So just kind of keeping an eye on well number 8. Let's see what we can find out the issue is. Next item is on Thursday, we have our semi-annual ZBA meeting. No issues. This is the twice yearly meeting just to make sure that the ZBA team gets together and they remember who each other is. We've gone for long periods of time with no appeals, and so this just kind of keeps the machinery greased. The agenda's been posted, so we should be good there.
Here at 7 o'clock too. We're gonna be at 7 o'clock.
Yes. I've been talking with Phil Whitman, again, just trying to get a layman's understanding of our power grid and when we can assume better reliability than we had earlier this summer. I've got some charts from Phil. I still don't quite understand them, so I'm going to have to go back and ask him, not for a rewrite, but just I'll walk through it with him so I understand what the heck he's saying. There is there are several feeder lines and one feeder line that backs up our Maida Village is still being worked on, but he doesn't have it depicted here. He does say that tree trimming will begin again in 2025 along both of those lines. I guess if there's any good news at all, it's from Phil. He did send me a note that said starting the 1st of December, customers can expect an average $5 per month reduction in their electrical bills. This is residential customers only, and this is due to a power supply cost recovery program that DTE had been working on. I believe some of the stuff that is in this set of charts involves that too. So I'll be watching for my average $5 a month reduction, and you guys can too. That's what, 50, 60 bucks a year if everything works out the way they suggest it will. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay.
Got
Steve?
the F&V report here. Things are going good. Still don't have in this report, it'll be next month's report about the sludge removal. And
Hang on a second here.
Bill's doing a dance party.
That's the conga, is it not?
He's doing a dance party. We're all supposed to get up and dance.
And he's got in here in his report, they're gonna be replacing the glass in the door that got broken. It has been replaced, but I'm sure that'll be in the next report also. And that came in around $500 versus we were gonna do a whole new door because it was sticking. The guys got it pried open, ground down some stuff on it. It's operating like it should. So 500 versus 5,000 to 7,000. Good deal. So other than that, things are operating well down there.
Well, that sounds good. Chris, you got anything?
Oh, one item. We did get on the new street light we installed at Torrey and Franklin being too bright. So before Dave's surgery, I had him go out and see what we can do with DTE. Going with the softer, lower lumen type, or even if it was, like I've noticed on some, we have multiple styles out there. Called the color that the old mercury vapor lamp used to do, which is that pinky. But I have noticed in several locations a much softer. Like I said, usually we can get that as a cooler, well, less cooler light. And we'll see what kind of time frame they do to come out and help us with that. So that is a very bright intersection now.
Yeah, it is, I noticed that.
Well, that's at,
Right in the corner. I'm sorry. Florian, is it Franklin?
Torrey and Franklin.
Yeah, Florian, Franklin.
so,
Did we go with that program years ago where they offered to do they put all the lights in and they maintain them and change them?
no, I don't
We
think
didn't go with it?
we did go with
Okay.
that. That I recall anyhow. So, Chris, I know you've had some meetings on First Street and Simons.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it that that's moving on.
We had our kickoff meeting, with the DOT and putting the pieces together of how to move forward. We did agree, and I want to make sure I word it right. We qualified for us to be able to get the money direct to us and spend for the project. They did go over what happens if the project comes in under your quote, what we applied for. You don't get the full, you get whatever it is you spent. But if it comes in over as well, they don't extend them, and which we kind of expected. So, but they are excited about us, moving forward on it, and we are, all the pieces are in place to move forward. So, for construction for next year.
So that's moving on. When do we apply for grants?
For the next year?
Yeah.
It's in it's the spring. The end date is as long as we file by June 30th of the next year. So June of 2024 will be the next one. So this here was because I put this is a 23 grant. Yeah. I usually do it. Well, I make sure we get them in our budget. So then I'll put our application in like April timeframe, April, May is the latest. So and that's with Rob.
We just want to, just want to make sure we do that.
Yep. Oh no, we continue exactly. We'll keep adding to the mix.
Okay.
I've got an alibi.
Yeah, go ahead.
Unless we got other people that got reports.
What was that?
Unless there's somebody else that's got a report.
Well, no, go ahead. What do you have?
I
Something
just,
more for water?
he just completely forgot about it. There is an Eagle Grant program for lead line verification. I'm attending a Zoom meeting on Wednesday on it. It is specifically to identify lead lines that you have, and that is the activity that we were going to work on this year and finish up next year. By the end of next December, we need to have completed a sample of 20% of our suspected lead lines in the village. I do not believe we have a significant number, but there's a process, and it requires us to, once we pick the samples, to vector, to verify the materials, and that's at least 2 holes per address, which can get expensive. So I'm going to attend that meeting. I think we have a chance. The grant period is open from the middle of December through the end of January, so I'm going to be applying. See if we get some money for that.
When you said next December, do you mean?
Next December is when we
24.
have to have our, let's see if I can get it right, our complete distribution system material inventory. We have to have that done. So we did have money in the budget this year, but we've not done any vectoring, but we will do that in earnest next year. If I can
by
find some money
24.
by 2024, yeah, December 31st, 2024. Thanks.
Okay. Are there any other administrative reports? Okay, now, moving on to the consent agenda, which is the payment of the bills and minutes of 11/13.
Mr. President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ballard, supported by Clark.
I got a number of corrections, so I don't know how you want to handle them.
Well, this is the discussion part, so go ahead.
So the first is the lead couple paragraphs. It's talking about the SEMCOG presentation. I want to be accurate here about this. Trustee Belkey and Jeff Nutting from SEMCOG presented council with the data of SEMCOG's projections, which Michelle does have a copy, through 2050, probably better than saying through the next 27 years.
Is that wrong, though, or
Pardon?
is that wrong?
It's still not, it's not wrong, I mean.
It's not wrong, but it was a 2050 projection, so you might want to be accurate about it.
But it's not a correction.
Leave it for the next 27 years if you would like. Belkey stated he feels the village is not, says, doing a good job for future proactive planning in association with the data presented. Really, I said that the village is not proactively planning for the future. And I would like to see the village and the township work together on the collective future challenges. How do you want to do? I mean, this is going to
That's
get a little
basically what
wordy.
it said.
I don't agree. I don't want to be characterized as taking the village to task for not doing something. I think we need to proactively plan for the future, and that the village and the township should work together on the future challenges. I think the record is wrong, so I'd like to see it corrected.
Excuse me,
So,
that portion, that was during the SEMCOG presentation, wasn't it?
Yes.
So is
That wasn't part of the meeting. That's
But
not minutes of our
She made it
meeting.
part of the minutes.
It's
Yeah,
in
but
the
it
minutes.
shouldn't be. That
Oh,
was,
that's a good point. It was not.
That
yeah,
was
it's a
not-
Separate, you're right.
that is where the correction should
Then
be.
you're gonna, you wanna strike it?
Strike the whole.
I think the whole thing should be
Strike
struck
the whole
because it
thing.
was not part of the village
Of village
meeting,
meeting,
the council meeting.
Correct.
I can live with that.
All right. Was there anything in the regular
Yep.
meeting?
All right, so you're gonna strike that, that paragraph out, those two paragraphs, correct?
Yeah,
The
everything
second
above
and
the
the third
regular
paragraph will be
Yeah.
struck. You
Yeah,
don't
the village.
care what you
agreed to
do with the
some kind of
first paragraph.
presentation.
All right, moving to page 4, item F, is about philosophy for unrestricted fund balance. Since he stated that during the audit, Curtis McBride stated that the village should consider establishing a fund balance policy of 100% of projected yearly revenues. Curtis recommended that the village consider establishing a fund balance philosophy for non-restricted monies in the general fund. That's what we were talking about. It's not a policy, it's a philosophy. And
You have to, it has to become a policy if you're gonna do it.
Right.
Curtis,
A philosophy
Curtis
is
wanted to.
What section are you in? I'm
This
sorry.
is F.
Page
Yeah.
4, page 4.
Yeah, I got 4 here.
Curtis recommended a philosophy. I don't care what we call it, we haven't established anything yet. So I would say let's put it in there as a philosophy, which we don't have. And let's see, so as
Well, what are we
Try-
talking about, expenditures or revenues?
Treasurer Porter suggested that the village keep 100% of expenditures, not the revenues as suggested by Belkey. I didn't suggest that. Curtis recommended that it be
Okay,
based upon
take as
revenue.
suggested by Belkey out of there.
Yep.
Okay. You can keep Treasurer Porter's suggested.
Okay, in the second line there,
Just,
are you
Do me a
agreeing that
favor.
we should change fund balance policy to philosophy?
Fund balance
What Curt-
philosophy of
That's
100% of
exactly what
projected
Curtis
yearly
recommends.
revenues.
So are we changing this to be accurate, or are we just putting stuff in here? Curtis recommended a philosophy, and the title of F is establish a philosophy, which is what Curtis.
So you want to
was
say,
recommending.
you want to get rid of stated to recommended too.
That was Curtis's recommendation. We don't have to do a damn thing with it if we don't want to.
But the
Yeah,
village
right.
is
So-
establishing a fund balance philosophy of 100. Okay, and it was revenues, right, Russ?
Curtis recommended out of revenue.
Okay.
I think,
Got it.
Dave, you were the one that said it should be expenditures.
But
And maybe.
when he was talking about that is when we had our 3-way phone call with him.
No, he said it in the meeting that,
No,
because
we
you were the
had
one,
a
you were the one that
conference
thought we
call
did it
with
on
him.
expenditures, and he said, well, we generally do it on revenues. It could be either one as far as I'm concerned. You pick one, but I'm just trying to be accurate.
Well, you
So
No, you can't. That's what.
you can't accurately predict what your revenue is gonna be.
I'm
No
not
more than you can. I mean,
But,
you
no,
can control.
Curtis
expenses.
simply said, guys, please, Curtis simply said, you usually use revenues. That's what Curtis said.
right,
So,
He did.
yeah.
He said that to us on our 3-way, that when he said the 100% of
Use
revenues.
I'm not
Because
suggesting.
revenues are surplus. Expenditures, you spent.
Yes.
What do you keep the numbers on when you've already spent?
I'm not sure, I don't know what the
Unless you're
change
trying
that.
to mad, but I don't, yeah, but why?
I don't know what we're changing this to.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable
Well,
with
it-
changing anything here
I-
right now.
I'm not comfortable leaving it as
And
it
it's
is
stated,
because
I
it's,
don't have a- I don't
it's
really care.
suggesting the wrong thing.
If Curtis recommended and it's a philosophy and get rid of it.
So-
I don't have any issue.
Would you like me to sit down?
Besides Ross, what do you guys think that Curtis recommended?
We weren't there.
No. This is
During the
at the
audit.
meeting.
Yeah, the audit.
Oh, when he gave us those
Yes.
audit funds?
Yeah.
You know what, I don't remember that now. I hate to say
Well,
that.
just in past working with Curtis for 27 years.
Yeah, but we can't go by that, because this is the minutes.
But
I think we need
27 years ago.
I've never heard him use the term philosophy,
Yeah.
so.
It's in his paperwork, so.
I think we need to strike the whole thing, because we're not sure.
I don't agree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is, again, it is, Ross is, it's saying what he's saying, so I don't have any issue with changing it, if that's what makes.
Curtis simply said that we should take a step back here. This is Michelle's interpretation of what I was asking for. And what I was asking for was to establish a philosophy for the non-restricted monies in the general fund. So you could just leave it as that. The key thing, I think, is that Jeff had a discussion. Jeff suggested, not a bad thing to do, but he simply recommended we don't do it now, we do it at budget time.
Yep.
So that's really the piece that I would like in here.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to bring it back up again as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year. That, as he's indicated, that's probably a better time when people are thinking more about the budget. Just do it at that time. So.
I think we should just leave this alone myself. That doesn't mean you can't bring this stuff up, Ross, I don't mean that at all. But this is you can't say Curtis McBride stated, and then you say, well, this is what I want.
No,
We're supposed to be doing the minutes from the meeting.
Curtis recommended, she's relating what Curtis recommended here. He recommended that we establish a philosophy. Leave it at stated if you want to. I'm trying to be directionally correct with what this is. He suggested we should have this philosophy. And so I pulled back the discussion of it based upon Jeff saying, yeah, good idea, just should probably do it at budget time, which makes sense to me. So that would be the key piece in here that Jeffrey recommends that we do it at budget time, which is in the January, February, March time frame.
Well, the whole paragraph there is basically saying that Curtis said we should establish a fund based on the projected revenue, and I felt that it should be on our expenditures, not the revenue. So all of that is really correct.
Yeah, it's all in here.
We can take out, as suggested by Belkey, if you don't want that in there, and then it's true that you had prepared the motion, but after discussion with the attorney, you withdrew it. So basically, the whole thing is correct. We can change the word policy to philosophy if that's what you feel
that would make me happy.
And we'll take out as suggested.
That'll make Ross happy, do it.
We should do it.
So
Thank you.
we'll let it read that way. Is
Okay.
everybody in agreement with that?
Yes, amen.
Okay,
All right.
I think this is much to do about nothing.
Is there-
I
Go
don't,
ahead.
I don't think so. Because
But that's okay.
people refer back to these things to find out who did what and what, you know.
Okay.
So
Well,
the next one is a perfect
philosophy in there.
example of this.
All right, what's
What
next,
what
Ross?
other complaints you got?
Item G.
While we're still on F,
right.
just because that meeting is still online, right? So I would like to double check just to make sure that he used the word philosophy and not policy. Because I thought that he had told us we would have to
Look at
establish a
his, look at his
policy.
paperwork.
Well,
So,
but I want to know what he said in the meeting,
Oh,
because
well,
that's what this reflects.
well, he wasn't here at this meeting.
Yeah.
That's what he says on the paperwork that he gave us when he gave us the audit report, because that's when he
Well, you
talked
said
about
he
it.
stated during the audit. So
Curtis
it's
didn't
in
even
his
talk to us
presentation.
last meeting.
That's what I'm
Right.
telling you.
Yeah,
But he's
so,
making reference to the meeting.
He's being
before.
referenced, so,
but I'm agreeing with Ross, because people might read, it says Curtis McBride stated the village should consider establishing a fund balance policy. Seeing how he wasn't at that meeting, that should be all crossed off,
Oh,
because
yeah.
Curtis was not there.
I'd say, yeah, the treasurer
Right, but
reporter
isn't that what
suggested.
he's referring to in his whole
Yeah.
motion, or his whole agenda
Yeah,
item? was
But
was
he
going back to that.
pulled his motion, so.
I pulled the motion.
Okay, so
Yeah.
are you saying you want to get rid of the whole section F?
No,
You're
I
saying
guess I'm saying
the
that
first one,
we
two,
can't
three,
say
four,
Curtis
six.
stated something when Curtis wasn't even at the meeting.
That's
Right.
why I say recommended, because he wasn't there.
Curtis McBride recommend, yeah, exactly. Get rid of, he stated that during the audit. comma.
Like, if you wanted to say recommended in the past, you can't say that he recommended at that meeting when he was not at the meeting.
Right.
Recommended during
He stated
his
during the audit.
audit,
Yeah, you
yes.
could say that.
That's what it says. He stated.
No, well,
During the
during the audit presentation,
that
Oh, yeah, it does say
Yeah,
during the
you say
audit.
You
audit.
stated.
Okay,
During the
okay.
audit, Curtis
Yeah.
had told the village they should consider.
All right, he stated.
So
that
you're
during the
making
audit.
reference to when he was here doing his audit presentation.
So if I stated anything, I stated that Curtis recommended that we establish a philosophy. And then I put a period and take out the rest of that stuff, up to.
so, but Dan's
Belkey had
question
prepared
is,
a motion.
when did he say that? If it was during his audit presentation, then that's
I
fine.
would agree, you could put in during his audit
Audit
presentation.
presentation.
So Curtis McBride recommended during the audit presentation that the
Yes.
village should consider establishing a fund balance philosophy of 100% of projected yearly revenues.
I would take that out. He didn't say
The
that.
way it's worded, just like it is.
He didn't say that. I just leave it at fund balance philosophy.
There was no discussion of percentage then.
The, Curtis didn't put an amount in there. He said that we needed to decide how we were gonna use that money. And talking to you, you said you recommended 100% of, I believe, expenditures when I talked to you in your office. So that didn't come up at the meeting here.
Right.
So I just take
So-
all of that out.
Stated that the village should consider establishing a fund balance philosophy.
Period.
And just period.
Period.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
So
get
we're
rid
not-
of,
And then, yeah, take out everything up to Belkey had prepared a motion. Because that's accurate. I prepared a motion after discussion.
So that part is accurate though, because I did say that I believe that the village should keep
At the
100% of
meeting?
their
At our meeting?
expenditures. At this meeting, yes,
no, at our meeting, at our
Yes,
council
you did.
meeting.
yes,
I,
yeah.
Okay?
Okay,
I would take that out. I don't think it's germane.
But it is.
It's
part
as
of the
germane to
discussion.
have the rest of the stuff that I think needs to be in there as that, Ann. I discussed that. The 100% issue was your recommendation, so.
Okay, we can take out the 100%.
That's
It's
fine.
just,
So
But-
treasurer reporter suggested that
but-
village
but-
keep 100% of the
Porter did
expenditures.
say that she suggested that the village keep 100% of the expenditures, not the revenues as suggested by Belkey. You did say that.
I did.
yes.
Yes.
I also said we have 154% in there, which is what Curtis said at the audit report. The whole point that I'm trying to make is that and what Curtis was saying is establish a number. 100% is fine to me. A rainy day fund is fine to me. We got
Let's stick with the
154%.
minutes.
Right.
Let's not go,
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
All right, so we're
Okay,
gonna
well
put Ann,
then-
are we
then
putting
I
Ann's
want-
statement in there or
I
not?
want in there
Yeah,
that
she said it.
I had
She said
indicated
it.
we had 154%.
no, we're not putting that in
That's not
there.
in there anywhere.
Then I would then take the other stuff out of there. Take the other,
Why don't,
it makes no
Read it
sense
to
then
me
to
the
have
way
the
you want it
100%
to
in,
say.
because the 100% is
She
only
stated
germane
that,
to
though.
the, and I stated that we had 154%. You're missing my point.
so do you want it to read that?
I think I
consider
understand
establishing
your
a
point
fund
really well.
balance
No, I don't think so,
philosophy
and I don't appreciate
Of
that.
154%?
So Ross brought the item to council, Curtis recommended a fund balance philosophy,
Just,
Ross prepared a motion, but after discussion withdrew it, and that's
I
it.
would leave it at that, because this will come back, and then we can bring up your 100%. 154, will probably be beyond 154% at that point.
Okay.
Minutes
Alright.
are supposed to accurately reflect.
You
what
guys-
is
Well,
said.
you both are
Yeah.
saying it, but if Ann actually did say that.
Seems like we
did.
keep cutting
I
the
did.
stuff out that I'm suggesting and
Because
leaving other stuff in.
I didn't agree with her because she was saying expenditures, and I know it should be
Yeah, I
considered
gotcha.
Yeah.
on the revenues. So I know she said it.
I think the big
Yeah.
point, everybody, I'm trying not trying to be
I know you
argumentative here.
recommended more than
The big
100%,
point
I don't
is
remember the
Curtis
percentage.
recommends a philosophy. I wanted to do something at that point. We decided to wait
Right.
till budget period.
And that's in here.
That would be fine, that's accurate.
So is this how you want it to read then? Trustee Belkey brought this item to council. He stated that during the audit presentation, Curtis McBride stated that the village should
Recommended
No,
during the audit.
trustee Belkey brought
Recommended.
this item to
Recommended,
council.
right.
Curtis McBride recommended during the audit presentation that the village should consider establishing a fund balance philosophy,
Period.
period.
Wait,
And then take out all the other stuff, and then Belkey had
okay,
prepared a
you kind of
motion.
lost me there. So you brought the item to council.
Then
You got
Curtis
the other item,
McBride
recommended or should, he's got should consider.
Recommended
So
during
take
the
out the
audit.
whole, he stated that during the
Yes.
audit
Yeah.
presentation?
Yes.
Correct,
Yes.
during the audit, yes.
It's really
So
not-
he
then
wasn't
to start
here.
with Curtis McBride recommended that the village should-
Recommended during the audit presentation. He didn't do it during the audit, he
I
did
was
it during
gonna
his
say.
presentation.
Recommended during the audit
That the
presentation. That
village should consider
establishing a fund balance philosophy.
Period.
And then just Belkey had prepared a motion, but after discussion and suggestion from Attorney Belkey.
But indeed, if Ann did say what she's, 100% of expenditures, I don't have any, I mean, that's real too.
Yeah. Hey,
It doesn't matter.
again,
All right.
we got,
So it's
let's
part of
get
the
these,
minutes, it
let's
did
get these
happen,
minutes
that's
done.
It was that.
Yeah.
Whether
then-
anybody
then
agrees
that-
with it or
Then that can stay
not
too.
with what you have in your mind.
Treasurer
This is
Porter
what was
suggested
said.
that the village keep 100% of the expenditures.
So are you saying put that back in now?
Yeah,
You
you
said
stated
it.
it, it's not a
I
lie.
did, but I thought you guys said take it out.
I would, sorry, then I want in there that I
See,
said the
that's what I'm
village
saying.
has 154%, because I said that too. So why is that less important
No,
and
and I know
less
you did say
accurate?
something that was higher than 100%, I just don't remember.
And then you can
If it was
say,
154, then
then we
that's-
can also say that we questioned it 154% because of the salvage title money and all that.
Right.
You know, we could just go on and on and on.
I would take out that piece of the 100%, because it's not germane at this point anymore. Yes, she said it, there's things I said too. The 100% is relevant when you talk about the 154%. So I would take it out, and then let's have the discussion at the.
All right, let's do this.
at the vote.
Do you have anything else, Ross?
I do on G.
So on F.
Because F, we're gonna, I mean, obviously, we all have our thoughts by now,
So are we gonna?
so.
What are we
Just
doing with F?
hold it until, we'll tie it up when we do the as amended
Okay.
motion.
All right, item G, just a discussion about the preliminary design, engineering, infrastructure contract. When I had the discussion in council about awarding that, my recommendation was to take it out of these unrestricted funds. And the reason I did not put it in the motion, which I said, again, at the meeting, was because council had not yet addressed the issue of unrestricted general fund balance. So that's why I didn't put it in the motion. So I just want council to understand that I didn't put it in there for a specific reason, trying to give deference to council to have a discussion about that. So I would recommend that middle of the page, and Belkey explained that at the time.
What number are you on?
On
G,
item F,
4G.
4G, I'm sorry.
Middle of the paragraph.
Middle of the paragraph, he suggested that the cost of $21,500 be paid for out of the unrestricted funds in the general fund, but that this, you could cross out the did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This distinction was not included in the motion because, this is what I would add, because council had not yet addressed the issue of unrestricted general fund balance. So I did say that at the last meeting. That's the reason why I didn't bring it in there. I don't have an issue with subsequent discussion.
So you wanted to say because council had not yet addressed,
The issue of the unrestricted fund balance. That's why I didn't include it in the motion. I want somebody coming back later on saying, well, you didn't do X. That stuff already comes up. Well, you didn't do such and such and so and so. There was a reason why I didn't do it.
Just tell her what you want to change in the,
Because you got it, because council had not yet addressed the issue of unrestricted general fund balance.
Okay.
All right, I'm good. The
All
rest
right,
of it.
nothing else?
No.
wow.
All right, so we
So-
got 3 paragraphs, right?
Does anybody else have a change to the minutes? Okay, well, we got the,
Bring up, I don't.
so on the, under consent agenda, do we have a motion here?
Motion's on the,
We had a motion and a second, but now it's gonna be to amend, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We had Ballard and Clark.
Right.
I make a motion to amend the.
Wait, do we have to, what do we have?
It's,
Yeah,
Lyle and Steve.
I will, I'm sure Ryan will, but we'll wait.
so,
Lyle, we
so
need
we're
to-
back to the consent agenda.
Consent
Ballard
agenda.
and Clark, and you're going to make a motion to approve that
As
with the
amended,
minutes as amended.
As amended.
yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. We good?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion's approved. Okay, old business. Have none?
I
New
know.
business. Oh, I'm sorry. So now moving on to,
No old business?
The new sheet and schedule of bills, there was a
Yep.
change to that.
so we got the planning
It
commission
went up by like
appointments.
6,000-7,000 or something like that. It went to like
Mike?
3,000.
You good?
She added, yeah.
So, my recommendation is that we let Mike Shaw continue working on the planning commission. So could I have a motion?
Oh, that you were making the motion.
We don't need
You wanna make a mo?
No, I don't. I don't know for myself.
I will resolve to appoint Mike Shaw as member effective to the Village of Armada Planning Commission for a term ending November 25th, 2024.
Support.
Okay, motion by Clark, supported by Ballard. All in favor?
Yay.
Motion's approved.
Congratulations.
Okay, this is my item, the handicap parking. I had it brought to my attention by a business owner that we have 3 handicap parkings on the south side of Maine. One down by the Armada Bar and Grill, one at the pharmacy, one at the chiropractor. But on the other side of the street, on the north side, we only have one, and that's down by the financial services,
Sure.
Armada Corners.
Yep.
And it seemed like a reasonable request that we move one of those signs over to the other side, either the one in front of the pharmacy or the one in front of the chiropractor. To balance it, I mean, you have people in need on both sides of the street.
Yeah.
So,
Where are they?
Hey Dave, did you, so the spots were picked by Chief Meyerly.
I talked to him.
So what did he say?
He's in agreement to make the move. He
Or
said,
do you just add one to the other side and leave the other one?
well, I
Because it
think
was
the
there for a
feeling
reason.
there was you'd be taking up a parking place that
And
probably a
that's-
lot of our
And that's true, we always
business
have that,
people wouldn't want to do it. So I did talk this over with the chief,
Okay.
and he thought that, now, it wouldn't really matter to me, at least the one in front of the drugstore or the one in front of the chiropractor, because they're both so close to each other. But
Is it one down by the foot doctor?
No, it's kind of more by the bar and grill, I think.
Yeah.
Well, kind of in between the bar and grill and.
And then you go to the bar and grill, and then you got it by the,
pharmacy.
and then put your next door, you know, you got the,
Well, the
next
last
door.
one is in front of your building, right?
Yeah, but no.
That one's, yeah, that's the 23010, and that one's
It's
got an
the
ADA
very
compliant
last one.
rampway. So I don't think you can eliminate that.
Right,
Right.
that's for
So
sure.
you'd either have to get rid of the one by the pharmacy.
So we
or the
should,
one by the bar and grill.
So we should do the, what would it be, 23084 then?
Yeah, I would say.
That's what you've got on the.
Not do the 23001.
Yeah, well, it's-
That's the
yeah,
one
that
by
one
the
is, I do see people that.
Well,
put
and that one
wheelchairs-
is set up better truly
Yeah.
for handicap.
Yeah, so we'd leave that one alone then.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we would have the motion where we move the 23084, across the street to 23041, if,
Make a motion then to direct the DPW supervisor Wagner to eliminate the handicap parking spot in front of 23084 Main Street and to designate a handicap parking spot in front of 23041 Main Street.
Support.
okay, motion by Belkey, supported by Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And would you let both Wagner and the chief know, you know, that it's the 23084? Okay, so then, moving on, do we have any upcoming agenda items?
I'm gonna try to bring something back on the DTE high-level feeder overview. It'll probably be just a packet, you know.
You're gonna give the council a packet on it?
There's a packet already, it's just you can't really understand it, so.
So DTE high-level feeder.
Yeah, but it's not gonna go on the agenda. He's just gonna say he's gonna give us all
I can
a
talk
packet.
it, I can,
So you
I'll
don't
give
want it as
council
an agenda item.
these, but I'll talk it at the
Administrative report.
Okay.
Okay, it's not gonna be a presentation though, it's not gonna be like the SunCal. Okay, sounds good. We may have as an upcoming agenda item an employee disciplinary situation. So, which may or may not be in executive session.
I was gonna say that would have to be. in the-
But, you know, it's something that's upcoming. So, is there any other agenda items? Or any citizens comment? Okay, council comments.
Can I just remind you guys that the next meeting is on the 12th?
Ah,
which is a
You're very good.
Tuesday,
that answered
and
that
then
question.
The following Monday
Yeah,
is
the
another
12th.
one.
Okay, got it.
So, get a week apart, so
Okay.
make sure you have your items into Michelle, so we can get the agenda. started.
Okay,
12/12.
and,
Yeah.
all right. Also, just, as a reminder, the, bargaining committee, hope you're working on that.
We are,
Oh, yeah, we are.
That's Mike and
yes,
who's the other one?
Joe.
Joe, okay.
We've moved forward as much as we can right now.
Okay, well,
And the road meeting, is that tomorrow?
Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday, okay.
okay. No other council comments?
Parade of Lights is the first Saturday in December.
All right, December 2nd.
So it's this.
Community
Second.
events.
That's the second.
Now we'll do community events. Go ahead, Joe.
Got it.
Yep, Saturday is the lighted parade. So, any other community events?
7 o'clock.
So, I would entertain a motion.
The time is 7:45, I move to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor of the
Aye.
motion?
Aye.
Aye, aye.
Motion's approved.